nice to be with you. I'm sorry I can't be on the Gold Coast today, as much as I'd like to be, knowing how well Nicholas and Paul put on a great show, and one that's been really kind to Pilbara Minerals over the years. But I thought if I can't be there, why not have a go at a quick recording to basically pass on my goodbyes and to wish Dale all the best. What a hell of a ride it's been. From Neil Biddle presenting back in 2015 to here we are today, an ASX 100 company with the business in rude health. And if ever there was a time to hand over, it would be now. And there is no one better than Dale Henderson to take Pilbara Minerals into the next chapter. He's going to be a steady hand, someone with the capability to create amazing business growth from here. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish him all the best. Hooroo for now. Sorry I can't be there, but I'm sure you'll look forward to Dale's presentation.
What a great message from Ken Brinston. And what a hell of a ride indeed. The great man described it perfectly, didn't he? The number of people have come up to me over the past 2 days and said, do you know how much money I've made out of Pilbara Minerals? It's just been fantastic. It has been, I know for some people in this room, nothing short of life-changing. It's been fantastic. The company's now entering its next phase of growth. We don't need to talk any more about where it's been. Let's hear about where it's going to with new Managing Director on his first big public outing, Dale Henderson.
No, thank you, Paul, and thank you, everyone. And yeah, big thank you to Ken. I knew a video was coming, but I wasn't sure what he was going to say. And a hell of a ride it has been. 7 years at the helm. In true Ken style, he's very understated when it comes to himself. Yeah, 7 years at the helm, from the shed in Freo to an ASX 100. And in that time, we've had everything. You know, raising the money offshore, the build, the downturn through 2018 through to early 2020, the Altura acquisition, the downstream joint venture, and here we are on the other side of this cycle. It's just an incredibly impressive chapter, and it's with great pride and appreciation that the board is handing the baton to myself and of course my objective is to carry forward the good work that Ken has established, and most importantly the great team that Ken with the full exec has built, who's delivered all of those amazing results over the years. So thank you to Ken. And to Paul, Nick and Reed Corporate and the Resources and Rising Stars, look, great to be here, fantastic event, and I now appreciate why Ken and the team were always so serious about coming back. Having spoken to many of the shareholders here, well done to you. I have met a few 2 cent and 10 cent Pilbara buyers, so congratulations, well done. And there's definitely a strong investor base here who supported Pilbara through those chapters I mentioned. So thank you for your support, and I look forward to returning in years to come and seeing where we can take the company. So with the presentation today, look, the thrust of this is Pilbara Minerals is poised to thrive. We've got an incredible asset, we've got an established operating platform which is delivering, and we've got this amazing growth pathway. And most importantly, we've got a team with demonstrated results both in building these large lithium operations and operating them successfully. So when you roll that all together, you then take a look at the market, and it's the best time possible to be expanding off that base. So I feel incredibly well placed, and the business is incredibly well placed. So what I propose to take you through is broadly 3 pieces. The first is just a quick update on who we are for those who don't know Pilbara and how we've been travelling with our production profile. The second piece I'll step into is more of a market update, and acknowledging that I know that for many of you are unsettled by some of the recent opinions There's been some very opposing opinions in the last 2 weeks, so I'd like to offer our views as we see the market as a key and major participant in the supply chain. And lastly, to finish, what I'll cover off is our outlook for Pilbara and what that looks like, and why Pilbara, if you're thinking lithium, you can't look past Pilbara, frankly. So, disclaimer, starting with Pilbara Minerals. So we, as I mentioned earlier, incredible Tier 1 asset, 162 million tonne reserve that we announced late last year, which offers a 26-year mine life. That's assuming we double our production run rate from where we are today, and it also assumes we don't extend the resource even further. So absolutely a Tier 1 asset, and located in a Tier 1 location, just down the road from Port Hedland, one of the largest bulk export facilities on the globe, and of course domiciled in Western Australia, one of the premier mining precincts with all the help you want or need as a mining company, and of course offering all the stability that within Australia and the WA government offers. So Tier 1 location. The operating team, as I mentioned, everything we've worked through to date has been because of the incredible team we've got at Pilbara. We have a homegrown, astute, successful operating team who's delivered the results to date, and we have full confidence we'll continue to deliver those results into the future. And I make special mention of them because lithium processing is not easy. It is not easy. And speaking from experience in the 5 years I've had with Pilbara, it's been a hell of a learning curve. First principles test work, first principles process modifications, and a lot of training and work with the team. So I want to pay homage to that, and I'd ask you to put that to the back of your mind as you consider prospective groups out there, and also as you think about the argument that all of the supply is going to be forthcoming overnight. We beg to differ, particularly because of that expertise I mentioned. Lastly, in terms of the growth profile ahead, we've got a staged profile about increasing our spodumene concentrate production, and beyond that, we're looking to value add our product per lithium unit, and I'll offer a little bit more detail about that a bit later. From an ESG perspective, probably the most pertinent note is our 6 megawatt solar farm. We're well into the throes of getting that constructed, so you're pleased to report that we're getting on with making a difference there and getting that solar farm in place. From a production update perspective, the financial year has been steady as we've brought on the Nuggaju operation, formerly the Altura operation, and the quarter we were in, we are very much into the thick of ramping up the Nuggaju operation. What you see on the right-hand side is our guidance between 90 and 130,000 tonnes. We kept that quite wide as a function of the COVID impacts that we've all been experiencing, and also the uncertainty which can come around bringing on a new operation. But yeah, pleased to report that plant is being ramped up. We've got both circuits ramped up for the Nuggaju operation, producing tonnes, and from this point forward, it's really around optimisation and tuning. So looking forward to reporting the quarterly results in due course. So having given an overview around Pilbara, now just providing a little bit of context around the market. Look, absolutely acknowledge and appreciate it's been a confusing sort of week for investors, and what we've seen is, as I mentioned earlier, some very opposing opinions on the market. And in response to that, you know, what we could share is really our macro observations as a participant in the supply chain. And the way I'll step through this is to talk about long-range, mid-range and short-range horizons. So starting with the long range, the thing we would remind everyone is that this is the establishment of a new industry. If I think back to 2017 when I first started with Pilbara, the sky was bright, everything looked amazing, lithium was the new oil, and within 7 months we commenced the downhill slide, which was 2 years of survival, contraction, which laid waste to unfortunately, to some of our lithium partners. And really behind all that was the consumption side of the story, the demand side being China. China was the consumption engine through 2017, 2018, pulling the EV subsidies pulled back, translated to that propagation backwards through the supply chain. Fast forward to 2020, completely different story. By this point, Europe, coincident essentially with the start of COVID, launched out of the blocks and really got going finally with EV subsidies, EV production, and so on and so forth, and soon matched China on a lithium unit basis in terms of consumption. And in short order after that, of course, North America kicked into gear, and in particular with the Biden administration coming in. So I reference that short history over the past 5 years just to highlight we've seen this massive shift in the demand side of the equation. And what I note about the recent opinions is no one's questioning that. No one's questioning the demand side of the equation. There seems to be strong agreement that lithium is that key ingredient of choice for the battery materials chemistries going forward, and that case is made and supported. What is in question, of course, is the supply side of the equation. Now, as a step in to talk about the mid-range time horizon, this is really the key piece, is more supply coming? Of course more supply is coming, given the amazing prices which are being received out there. The question is how much and when? Now, the recent arguments around it's coming in spades from Africa, look out. We would caution that. The other argument saying there's this thing called lepidolite. It's going to come in spades from lepidolite. Let's caution that too. As was mentioned in earlier presentations, it's low in lithium. It's not straightforward to concentrate. And I'd point out that if it was going to be so easy, it would have happened by now. And I would have expected some of the big lithium chemical producers would have probably brought assets there in lepidolite, which hasn't happened. So I would caution that. And then the last thing I'd say about timing of product to market is it just takes time. It's not a question of funding. It's a question of technical learnings, marrying the natural variation nuance of your natural resource to a bespoke process path, mastering that, and then producing that successfully at an operating cost base which enables you to compete. And that is the Pilbara journey that we went through, and it does not happen overnight. So for the prospective groups coming forward, I wish you well, but for those who are casting your view of that supply-demand balance, our counsel is to say it's going to take time for it to come to market. So having touched on the long-range view, where I mentioned that it's the establishment industry, talking a little bit about supply-demand on the mid-range, lastly I'd finish on the short-range view. The short-range view from our perspective is very, very strong. We are inundated with inquiries, and probably the most meaningful example is our latest battery materials exchange auction, which, for those who don't know, this is an online platform which enables live buyer to seller trades. We kicked this off in June last year, and we did our first auction, in fact, July last year, and it completely shot the lights out for us. We were gobsmacked when we did an auction and we got $1,250 a tonne, or $1,400 SC6 equivalent. Couldn't believe it. Absolutely broke records for us. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, we did the same auction, half the volume, 5,000 tonnes, and we got $6,500 per tonne SC6 equivalent. What's more is the phone kept ringing. There was a clamouring in the auction to secure that tonnage, and there was others following up saying, how can we get some? Can we match that price? How do we get involved? What can you do for us? So that was as little as 15 days ago. So you be the judge as to the current market and the appetite that we have here. So we feel very, very strong about the short-term thematic, and well set up to capitalise. So moving quickly to the expansion profile. As I mentioned at the start, massive asset to be developed. We're deep into bringing Nuggaju along, which is the green part of the slide there. And from this point forward, it's about bringing the next 100,000 tonnes on, looking to do an FID, hopefully before the end of this quarter, if not early next quarter. And then beyond that, the next step up being to 1 million tonnes per annum with an FID targeted for late this calendar year. And beyond that, it's about adding more value per lithium unit. And in this category, really two pathways. Downstream, of course, economic participation, either lithium hydroxide or lithium carbonate. For us, our first foray there is our joint venture with POSCO, which, by the way, that's where Ken is. He was, I believe he was calling from the airport. He's in Korea this week with POSCO. So we're up to a 30% participant in that downstream joint venture. So a key way for us and for our shareholders to participate in the additional margin that selling hydroxide offers. And then there's the midstream project. What's midstream project about? This is about the production of a superior lithium product, superior to spodumene concentrate. And we like what we're onto here. Essentially, what this is about is production of some lithium salts. We feel it's a good way to go for several reasons. First, it's about a higher concentration lithium product for market. Two, it's about leaving the waste at the mine site, being the alumina silicate waste. And three, we think it's going to be more green, and the fact, particularly through the use of electric calcination, we're able to, through that electrification, plug in green energy, so that's going to help with carbon. And fourth and lastly, we think it's a more user-friendly product. The likes of lithium phosphate, it's stable, it's a high concentration lithium, higher than lithium hydroxide, by the way. Stable, can transport easily, so we think it's going to be an appealing product for the future. All that being said, it's very much in the R&D category. No one's transporting lithium through lithium phosphate, to our knowledge, and for us, we need to prove up the concept further, and this is what it's going to look like. So this is available on our website, but the quick explanation for this process path for midstream is bringing the front of the chemical conversion process to the mine site. So undertaking the calcination and then undertaking a couple of basic chemistry steps to precipitate out the lithium, leave behind the alumina silicate where it's best handled at the mine site, and put those stable, high concentration lithium salts onto a boat at much smaller mass, by the way, so saving on transport and carbon. So next steps for this project is we're marching towards a decision on doing a demonstration plant. And some time back, in fact very recently, we were successful in receiving a $20 million grant, federal government grant, for the purpose of contributing to that demonstration plant. So a big vote to the concept we're pursuing, and obviously $20 million is not to be sneezed at. So we think we're on to a good thing here. And beyond that demonstration plant, if that goes well, that will really be the key point by which we can then make a judgment on, is this the product for the future and for our business, and should we scale it up? So demonstration plant is the next key hurdle for us. So plenty to look forward to. As I've taken you through here, I appreciate we're short on time. What I wanted to give was a quick overview of who Pilbara is, our production profile, a little bit about the market. So hopefully I've settled some nerves there and inspired some confidence around this unique point in time that we have as a business and as an industry. And for Pilbara, as I said from the start, we truly are poised to thrive. This amazing expansion runway, the value add initiatives, whether it be midstream or downstream, I think we are truly an incredible position, and I'm delighted to be passed the baton and looking forward to coming back and talking about what Pilbara does next. Thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Dale. Thanks very much. Guys, please feel free to go and join the crowd. Dan, all of you, please feel free to go and take a seat. You've set up in the line.